Hi everybody, namaste, and hope you're doing okay. Let's begin. So we'll come down to either Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Otherwise, you can be in constructive rest position if you prefer. I hope you're getting around to your practice a few times a week. I've been doing a fair bit, which is good, trying to keep it up. And it does make a difference. So let's start by checking in. So we're just noticing how the body is feeling, physical body is feeling at this particular moment in time, and trying to let go of any tension in the body, any physical tension. So that kind of tension that you sometimes hold in the jaw, in the neck, between the shoulder blades, in the abdomen, just trying to release all that kind of stuff. And becoming aware of any injuries that you have, special conditions. So just all those things that might affect your practice in some way. And also check in with your emotional self. So, there's maybe a few things on your mind that you can't stop thinking about. You might be a bit tired today. Might be something else going on. So just pay attention to all that stuff. Be aware of it, and hopefully whatever else happens, we'll be able to give our thinking brain a little bit of a rest over the next hour or so. So as much as you can, body, brain, mind, completely soft for the sake of this particular exercise anyway. We're going to do a few slightly longer inhalation breaths just to become aware of our breathing pattern. And also, we want to make sure that the exhalation is very passive. Okay, so inhaling and always expanding the belly, exhaling in a really passive, soft way. So not all the air will come out. That's okay. All right. Oh, Nev's saying I've got to move the mic a bit closer. Sorry. Okay. It sends me messages via the computer, so hopefully it's not too loud, but anyway. So we're breathing in. We want to very gently push down on the pelvic floor. Take a little sip of air into the lower belly. And really you want to feel the majority of the air move into the main part of the belly, so across the navel area. A little bit into the lower chest and a tiny bit more into the collarbone region. And then we just relax, okay? So you can relax, some of the air will come out, but not all of the air will come out. And your inhalation, only ever about 3/4 of a lungful. Okay, so whenever I say complete inhale, I always mean 3/4 of a lungful. And then complete the exhalation round that you're on. Bring your knees together if they're not already, and then press your toes, your heels, the soles of your feet quite firmly down into your mat, so you're really getting a sense of the texture of the mat beneath your feet. Lift your pubic bone slightly. Bring your chin in so the neck feels nice and long, and if it feels better for your body, you can bring one knee at a time to your armpits. And again, just remind yourself, relax in that position. So as we go through the practice, just notice all that kind of chronic and unconscious tension that creeps in, and let it go. If you don't need it, it's not helpful. It's just taking up precious energy. Now when you're ready, you can hold onto your shins and bring your knees a little bit closer to the armpits, and then create some resistance by pushing your shins into your palms, palms into your shins, and then relax. That might feel a little bit easier. Fish pose, so we're broadening across the upper back, pressing the shoulder blades down, bringing the chin in, relaxing the belly, and then expanding the tummy on the inhale. So you feel as if you're lifting belly, chest, collarbone to the ceiling, and you want to feel as if the middle of your spine is moving away from the mat. A little bit of a back arch. and then relax. Just let the back of the body gently sink back down. And this time, if you can, bring your arms in between your thighs, give it a bit of a push, and then relax. Take your palms to the outer knees, and you're going to push outer knees into the palms. Palms are going to push back into the outer knees, and relax. Bring your knees together, pop the arms down by the side, and this time we'll give it a bit of a wiggle. So from the left to the right side. So just checking in with the lower part of your spine. Just seeing how that feels. And you can just keep going side to side if that's what you prefer. Otherwise, you can start to move the lower part of your spine in a circle if it feels okay. And opposite direction. Finishing off, bring your knees in, give it a little wiggly thing left to right. And then we're going to anchor the left foot quite firmly on the mat. Take the right leg straight, so it's about 10 centimeters off the mat. Push into the ball of the right foot, and this will help to relax the hamstring, firms the front of the thigh, and we'll do one-legged bicycles with the right leg. So the first part of this practice, the bit that we do on the floor, you could do this every day, take you about 5 or 10 minutes. And it just helps to release the hips and the hamstrings and the lower back, work some of the core muscles. So let's go back opposite direction. And bring, when you're ready, your right thigh nice and close to your chest. Interlink your hands around the shin, give it a push, and then relax. And if it's enough, stay there. Otherwise, straighten your left leg. And we want to really feel like we're trying to anchor the left heel and the left thigh, the back of the left thigh, down into the mat. And we're going to do this a little bit like how we did the fish pose, by pushing shin into palms, palms into the shin, pressing the shoulder blades down, but kind of feeling like we're trying to lift the belly up to the ceiling and the chest. Relax. Allow the back of the body to sink back down. Take your fingertips to the bottom of the mat. Leave your head on the floor if you prefer. Otherwise, expand the tummy as you inhale, chin to chest, peel the upper body off the mat. Maybe some of you can lift your left leg as well. Make sure you can still breathe. Always trying to expand and breathe into the belly. And then bring the left thigh to the chest. Pop your feet on the mat. And we're going to roll over to the left side. We're going to do these clams. So I've got my left arm out to the side, but you can pop it under the head if you want to. Feet stay close, but you're lifting the right knee away. So we do 12. So that was 1, that's 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So do 12 more or rest. We can take your right leg out straight. I'm just going to adjust a little bit, and same thing. We go 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I was just wondering if you could hear my stomach gurgling then. It was enjoying that. So we're going to this time have our feet touching, lift just the lower legs. Okay, so just the shins and the feet. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then carefully back into constructive rest. So that's going to feel a little bit different on the right side compared to the left. So we grip the mat with the right foot, take the left leg straight. So extending into the ball of the foot, and you just hold it there just for a few seconds, and it will just help to relax the hamstring. If you feel it, it's like soft like jelly. Front thigh muscle is nice and firm, which is all really good for your knee. So let's do one-legged bicycles with the right leg. And let's go back in the opposite direction. And then we're going to finish off by bringing the left thigh nice and close to the chest, interlinking the hands around the shin. Give it a push and then relax. Stay there if that's what you did on the first side. Otherwise, straighten your right leg. Anchor the heel. Try and feel like you're pushing the back of the right leg, the right thigh down. And we're going to do this like the fish pose by pressing the shoulder blades down but feeling like we're trying to lift the belly, the chest, the collarbone up towards the ceiling. So again, it's a little bit like a back arch. And then relax. Just allow the back of the body to sink back down and take the fingertips to the bottom of the mat. So shoulders away from the ears. And if you want to, leave your head where it is. Otherwise, for the sit-up, you expand the tummy as you breathe in, chin to chest, peel the upper body off the mat. And maybe some of you can lift the right leg. But you want to feel like you can still breathe and the sides of your abs. See how mine are squidgy? You want to be squidgy down the sides of your abs. And bring the right thigh to the chest. Lie back down. So we're going to roll over to the right side. I'll try not to knock the microphone over. So clams, feet close, lift the left knee up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Do another 12 or rest, or you can take your left leg out straight. You can adjust what you need to adjust. And when you're ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so we've got our knees on the floor and our feet touching. We're just lifting the lower legs. So we do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so back into constructive rest position. Last little sit up. So you can bring your thighs to the chest, right? So I want your thighs quite close. I mean, you might not be able to get them that close, but they don't want to be over there. And you've got your legs bent. See, balls of the feet to the ceiling. Take your fingertips to the bottom of the mat. Leave your head on the floor if you need to, okay? Otherwise, again, you expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, so don't drop your head back like that. Peel the upper body off the mat. Check the tummy is breathing. Now, if it's not safe, comfortable, appropriate to come up from here, then obviously don't do that. Lie back down, roll to the right side, and you come to sitting, standing in your own time. Do it as slowly as you need to. Otherwise, you can roll up to sitting, possibly you can come up to standing. I'm just going to make sure this doesn't get too hot. Okay. It's cold in the morning and then it warms up. So have your feet about hip width apart. Bend the knees a little bit. I'm just going to take the arch out of the back by pushing the groins forward. All right, I'm exaggerating that because it gives me a stretch here. So most people really tighten those muscles from the hip flexors, front of the hips. Round out the back, chin to the throat, and extend out through the crown. All right, so what we want is length in the throat and length in the neck. We don't want to squish one side of our body in an attempt to stretch the opposite side. We want length both sides. All right, now I want you to imagine that you're trying to stretch the mat apart with your feet, so your feet feel quite firmly anchored, and then imagine you're trying to get your feet into duck feet. So even though your feet are maybe slightly pigeon-toed, in other words, outsides of the feet parallel with the mat, it's like we're trying to do this, and then you can tilt your weight forward. And as long as everything is communicating, you won't be picking yourself up off the floor if you do that. You'll feel your toes gripping, which is a natural sympathetic nervous system response, okay? Relax the tummy. Hard not to relax the tummy. Very habitual to create tension there. And then you can follow me. And I will give you instructions as we go along. Really see if you can try and move your trunk, get your core moving. There's a lot of tension in the core, creates tension in the spine. One more. About 10. To one side.
center. Over to the other side. Center. Other side. Remember, there's no rules really with these things, just get everything moving. Center. Other side. Center. Last 5. Last one. Don't let your bum stick out. Five. And 12, like elbows. The last one, let's go back to the beginning. And 5. Last one, 12. Last one, back to the beginning, one more. And 5. Last one, and 12. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So easy, harder, challenging. Crisscross.
So simple, harder, challenging, be careful. I'm going to go into the twisting half moon position. So you're off the mat, balancing on your left foot. So that's simple, harder, challenging. My balance has been a bit off this week. And right foot back to the mat. Push the left sitting bone forward. Pubic bone to the right foot. Lengthen the right fingertips. Stay or a little bit of a balance. Half moon position. So follow me for easy. Go straight into the balance if you want. Lift the pubic bone, belly to the back of the mat. Grip with the front foot. You can lift if you want to. So we're going to go via the warrior 3 variation into a lunge. You can go straight into it or you follow me. I'll show you an easier variation. Drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone. Coming into the lunge, push that front sitting bone forward. And you can, if you want to, just engage that left glute a little bit. Sometimes that can help to release the front of the hip. So we're going to just twist slightly to the right. Bring the right arm down. Reach into the corner with the left fingertips. And if you don't want to touch the floor, don't touch the floor. Just hang out here. Otherwise, left fingertips to the inner right foot. Right arm up. So notice I'm not doing that. Just lengthen into the fingers. Squeeze the front heel as if to the left side. So we're going to do an add-on. You don't want to do it. Stay here or come back into that side stretching position. Otherwise, you're going to bring your palms together, push the upper left arm into the right thigh. And we're going to go back into that side stretch. That's it. Give yourself a little bit of a cuddle. And easier. 2 more like that, harder. Little breath in, all the way forward. Easier, harder, challenging. Dancer's pose. Go straight into it if you want to, or there's your simple version. A little bit harder, a little bit challenging, and maybe or maybe not possible. See how you go. And Karate Kid position. Simple, harder, challenging. And left foot down. So over to the right this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ready? 12. And easier. Lift the pubic bone. Harder, challenging. Crisscross position. Simple, harder, harder still, challenging. Twisting half moon position. So you can just do a version with your left foot on the mat. Otherwise, little lift or a bigger lift if you want to. Take the left foot back to the mat. We're going into that side stretch. So right toe tip in the corner. Lengthen into the left fingertip. See how my armpit and my nose are touching. Push that front sitting bone forward, but feel like your pubic bone is moving towards your the toes of your left foot or your left heel. A little lift or a bigger lift if you feel confident. So the half moon pose, you can go straight into it or follow me. I'll take you through a little bit of an easier variation. So right toe tip behind, drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, belly to the back of the mat, grip with the front foot, leave the right foot on the floor, or you can lift if you want to. Doesn't have to be a big lift. So wobbly on carpet. I know I say that every week. You think I'd be better at it by now. So warrior 3 into the lunge. Follow me for an easier version, okay? So this is my easy version. You just slide back and then drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone. And it helps to engage that right glute too. Helps to release the front of the hip. Belly to the left arm down, reach into the right hand corner. So you'll feel that in there. Hip flexor on the right side. Now if you don't want to take your hands to the floor, don't take your hands to the floor. Otherwise, you can take your right fingertips to the inner left foot, turn from the navel, left arm up. So I'm squeezing my front heel to the right side. Now you can go back into that side stretch, or you can try the next little twist, which is where we bring the palms together, push the upper right arm into the left thigh. Back into the side stretch. Give yourself an imaginary cuddle. And this is easier. This is trickier. Do 2 of those. So that's 1, 2, and then we take a breath in, all the way forward. Easier, harder, challenging. Go straight into dancer's pose, Natrajasana, or follow me. So easier, harder, harder still. Maybe or maybe not possible. Don't overdo it. Karate Kid position. So simple, harder, challenging. Lovely. Okay, we're going to do fancy hands. You can follow me with this one. My mat's gone a bit wonky, sorry. All right, so have your feet a little bit closer. Bend the knees again, groins forward. So fancy hands. Stay on flat feet or come up. Excuse me. Bend a little bit. Only come down further if your knees are super strong. Swap it over. Forward, round out the back. Side stretch. Other side. Twisting. Don't forget to hike the opposite hip. Back to the first position. So this time take the arms behind. Push into the heels of your hands. Chest forward, fingers to the floor. Stay on flat feet or come up, bending a little bit. You can go down further if you want to. Roll your shoulders in, round out the back, squeeze your hands into fists, come up if you want to, bend a little bit more if you can. So this time we're going to interlink the hands, not interlink, bring the backs of the hands together. So shoulders down, arms back, stay or come up, bend a little bit or come down further if you can. Feel like you're squeezing something behind your knees. Swap. Lovely. Shoulders in, bring the arms up. Don't let the bum stick out. Remember what we were talking about before? Length at the front and length in the back. If your bum sticks out like that, just squishing your lower back. Okay? And bring your hands down. When you're ready, bend the knees like a swim stroke. And left leg back. 1, 2, last one, 3. Now this time we're going to go into a warrior 3. Simple, harder, challenging. Going into that lunge again. So remember the easy version I showed you last time? Do that one if you need to. Otherwise push into the ball of the foot. Now I want to take the arch out of my back, lifting the pubic bone. Bringing the arms forward. It's like I'm holding onto the handlebars of a road bike. Push the elbows forward and try and bring them a bit closer together, and then consciously push some weight into the ball of that back foot so you feel that hamstring muscle go really firm. Trikonasana, so that means I'm going to drop the back heel to the floor, turn the belly to the ceiling, work on straightening this right leg without locking it out. belly up. Maybe you can slide the hand down. If you're not so flexible, keep it here. Otherwise your bum ends up doing something like that, which I don't want it to do. Then the left arm goes up. So again, not back like that. Nice and gentle. You can see I'm looking up. It's not very comfortable to look up for hours, but you could look up for a few seconds and then you look down and then you're stretching, strengthening, I mean to say, those muscles. Squeeze the front heel as if to the left side. And we don't want this front leg locking out, okay? Just drop that left arm. So let the shoulder completely relax. I know there's chronic tension in this left shoulder. That might be why it doesn't move very well. But just imagine it's got no muscle. Then we bring it forward as if it's like a Pinocchio arm and someone is pulling it forward on strings. And then maybe you make that left arm a little bit longer. Then maybe you can check your deodorant. Then maybe you turn your belly to the ceiling, stretch them out apart with your feet. And you're going to feel that down the left side of the hip and in the hip flexor, no doubt. Let the left arm relax again. This time you're rolling your left shoulder in, wrap it around the waist, grab something. It might be material, but you never know, it could be a leg. And this is your belly, this is your head. So if I say turn the belly to the ceiling, this is what happens. Okay, so you can do that, but can we turn the belly first? And maybe it's safer just to keep your chin in. Bend the front leg. Come into warrior two. Lengthen between the fingers. So I'm squeezing my front heel to the left side because what I want is this knee to track with my toes. I don't want it doing something like that. I'm pushing the front sitting bone to the front heel. My tailbone to the back heel, ribs in. Navel to the back of the mat. Check the tummy is breathing. Now we're going to do soft shoulder stuff again. Are you ready? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And YogaSphere. We're hugging the imaginary tree, heels to toes, bottom bones to heels, belly relaxed, belly soft. If you want to make this pose a little bit easier, straighten your legs, narrow your stance. Don't do such a deep squat. Take the arms back. Bring the shoulders in. Bring the arms up. Bring them slightly out. Interlink. Palms down. Forward, up. Stay on flat feet or come up. Drop your heels, arms out. Fingers to ears. Lean right. Give it a push. Bit of an imaginary cuddle. Palms up. Lean left. Give it a push. Imaginary cuddle. Palms up. Breathing in. Belly to right. Right arm back. Left arm forward. Imaginary cuddle. Second side. Breathing in. Belly to left. Left arm back. Right arm forward. Imaginary cuddle. Shoulders in. Arms up. And if you don't want to take your hands to the floor, hands on your thighs, just adjust your feet so they're slightly pigeon-toed. Otherwise, fingers to the floor or hands to the floor. Adjust your feet, slightly pigeon-toed. Now what I want to do is push my weight into the outer feet. Grip with my toes. Keep my knees bent even if I'm really flexible. And again, feel like I'm trying to get into the YogaSphere position. Alright, so this is what I was talking about before. Your feet are slightly pigeon-toed, but it's like you're trying to get into duck feet. Now for those of you who have this pressure issue with your head, you might just look forward. You can always pop your hands on a block or even a chair if you've got one handy at home. But if you don't have those issues and you have that flexibility, you can relax. Start to walk your hands between your feet. My mat feels so slippery, I don't know why. Now if you relax and you know you're relaxed, what happens is that gravity means your shoulders touch your earlobes. If you're resisting that relaxation, that happens, which is okay. But for the sake of this exercise, provided you don't feel that tension in your legs, provided you don't feel that pressure in your head, could you relax your upper body and let your lower limbs do the work? And let's walk the hands forward if they're not already. So we're going to try a twist. This twist is a twist for your trunk. Again, it's not for your head or your neck, okay? So, left hand anchors, right hand on the belly, round out the back. Now, as you breathe in, keep looking at the left hand, twist your navel to the right side. That right arm goes out, but let's not stretch it all the way back, right? Now we're going to use the left palm to twist the navel more to the right. And then pretty much organically I'm looking to the right side of my mat. Now I could look up, but I actually think it's better for most people just to look into the corner of the mat. Looking up can be hard on your neck, but you can if you want to. Bring the right hand down. Try the second side, left hand on the belly. So I'm going to round out the back first. You feel the muscles working when you do that, but the belly needs to be relaxed, otherwise you can't twist. Okay, so when you breathe in, breathe into the belly, then twist navel to the left arm out, and we use that right palm to twist the navel, the trunk more to the left side. All right, I'm pushing into the left foot to create resistance, and bring the left hand down. Now we're going to come back into Gadget stand, so you can shimmy or you can do a little spring, tuck your bottom forward, lengthen between the fingers. Are you ready? This is the lawnmower. We go 1, 2, 3, and simple, harder, into simple, harder. And bring your left foot down. Very good. So I'm hoping that if you just walk from or shift from foot to foot, you're going to feel that left side is a lot softer. It feels different. So let's try the second side. So like a swimming stroke, you take the right leg back. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, into the warrior 3 position. Simple, harder, challenging. Now remember earlier I showed you how you can shimmy your leg back, but if you feel comfortable, you've got your balance, go straight into the lunge. But what I don't want is this. I want ribs in, tailbone down, pubic bone lifting, arms forward, as if I'm holding onto the handlebars of a road bike. So elbows closer, slightly forward. And now I'm going to consciously push some weight into the ball of my back foot. Makes my hamstring go very, very firm. Don't forget to breathe into the belly. Instructions can make you forget to relax. So Trikonasana, triangle pose, back foot flat. Okay, we straighten this front leg, but it doesn't have to be too much. We turn the belly to the ceiling. Belly, belly, belly up. Right arm up. Now I don't want my bum like that. I want to keep scooping my left heel to the right side so that I'm aligning the top of my femur with my heels, both of them. And then maybe I look up. But you don't have to look up for long. I want to not be sinking into that hand either. Okay? It's just there for decoration. Could be up there. That might be better for you. Drop the right arm. Let it relax. Let it completely soften. I know tension in the shoulder is, really common thing, and it makes the shoulders hard to move. So we're just going to bring that right arm forward as if it's being pulled on little Pinocchio strings, and then maybe we imagine then there's something that we're trying to grab but we can't because our arm's not quite long enough. Then turn the belly to the ceiling. Check the deodorant. Push out through your back foot. Don't forget to breathe. And let the right arm drop again. Roll the right shoulder in, wrap it around. Belly to the ceiling. Going to go into warrior 2. So we're bending the front leg, pushing that front sitting bone forward, tailbone back, lengthening between the fingers, squeezing the front heel to the right side, navel to the back of the mat. Check the tummy is breathing. This shoulder is going to be soft for the next exercise, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, last one. And again, holding onto the imaginary tree, it's Gadget stand.
Heels to toes, bottom bones to heels, belly relaxed. Try and sit with it. I know it's a challenging pose. Many things are challenging. We don't have a choice. But can we practice being in a stressful or artificially induced stressful situation and try to relax in it? And maybe we get better at relaxing in stressful situations that are real. You never know. Take the elbows back. I'm just going to shimmy back a little bit. I'm going to hit the window. Alright, so this is coffee or a cocktail, a bit early for cocktails, but who cares? Take your right hand all the way over to the left. Offer it around. 1, 2, 3, second side. J-Lo. One more each side. If you don't want to take your hands to the floor, you know what to do. But if you are doing this position, don't lock your legs out, let them bend a little bit. Push into the outer feet, grip with your toes. Feel like you're trying to get your heels into Gajastan. As I said before, you can walk your hands forward and look forward. You could even do something like this with your head on a chair, or maybe you feel comfortable doing this variation, relaxing your shoulders and using gravity for slightly different purposes, because in this position you've got the weight of your head, traction in your neck, as opposed to your head and gravity kind of crunching down into your skeleton and diminishing the space between your spinal joints. So a little bit of that every day. It's why we need to keep our muscles really strong. It makes sense, doesn't it? If your muscles are not strong, you're essentially collapsing. It's such a lot of hard work for your joints, for your ligaments, if the muscles aren't strong enough to support the weight and to help you manage gravity, to help us manage gravity. Alright, so the twist this time, simple. Just walk your hands around to the right side. That might be enough. Now for those of you who like the challenge, can you visualize your navel and the top of your right thigh and turn your navel as if it was going to touch the top of your right thigh. Now maybe your hands go into outer space. I'm going to show you a hard one. Actually need my feet a little bit narrower for this though. And this is tricky, hard for tight shoulders. You take the outside of your left arm into the right leg, then you bring the right arm forward. Tricky twist. I've got tight little shoulders too. Second side. Walk the hands. This is the simple version. Maybe just stick with this one. Trickier. Visualize your belly button and the top of your left thigh connecting. Maybe just take your hands out to into the ether. Trickier. Keep going with that twist. Outside of your right arm or shoulder presses into the left leg. Left arm to the floor, left fingertips to the floor. Oh, that is tricky. Back into Prasarita Padottanasana. So we're going to take our feet back into Gajastan, scoop forward, lengthen between the fingers, the lawnmower. 1, 2, 3. Simple, harder, challenging. Simple, harder, challenging. And hopefully your legs both feel a little bit even now. So we're going to do some energy balling. So with this we want to really feel like we're moving the spine, the belly. And you want to try and keep the belly relaxed. But what you don't want is this. See this bum sticking out? That's not what you want, because you will hurt your lower back. It's more of a martial arts position. And all the way down into Uttanasana, so the forward bend. We're just going to do a really gentle, soft version of it with relaxed legs, like the ragdoll variation. And then come onto your shins if you can. So on your shins if possible, but remember you can sit in a chair and do this one, because we're essentially going to do some exercises for the wrists. Okay, so what we're going to do is push the belly forward, and as we push the belly forward and lean back, you feel these muscles at the front of your body getting really strong, your core muscles, but still around the outside they should be nice and soft. So we're going to take the arms back, push into the heels of the hands, push the chest forward, stretch the fingertips to the floor. This is supposedly good for your lung meridian, so it might release your any blockages that you have in your nose. Roll your shoulders in, bring your arms forward. Small intestine, squeeze the hands into fists. Now, for the wrist exercise, left hand on the right, right hand on the left, press the palms together and try and keep your palms touching when you bring your hands through. Okay, so the first challenge is keeping the palms touching and straightening the arms. And to go a little bit further than that, you can turn your hands in an anti-clockwise direction. It gives you a little bit more of a stretch, and I'm always creating resistance, so I'm kind of going anti-clockwise and trying to turn clockwise at the same time. Now take the hands back through, swap it over. Right hand on the left, palms together. Take the hands through. Work on straightening the arms first, and then if you can do that, then you're going to turn your hands clockwise. But if you really want to go further than that, then you resist by going back in the opposite direction as well. And take the hands back. So bring the shoulders in, arms up, and take the hands to the floor. So we're going to spread the fingers, push the fingers down, the forefingers lift up the palms. So we're going to press little finger, then the ring finger, middle finger, index finger. Let's do that again. And when we take the palm, the thumb and the thumb pad back down, I want you to really feel like you're using your fingers as well. You're not just kind of sinking into the wrist like we all do quite habitually. Remember that as we go through, because we'll do a few arm or weight-bearing postures using our hands. So we take the right leg back, left arm forward. All right, now you can take that left hand to the floor, because what I'm going to do is tricky, or you can just leave your left hand where it is, which is a much harder workout for your core muscles. Are you ready? So thigh to chest, knee to shoulder. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. Just going to take that thigh back to the chest, foot to the bottom of the mat. Now I'm going to take my weight to my right foot, and I'm just going to use my left fingertips for balance. I'm not pushing down like this, I'm on the fingertips. And this arm is soft again. Remember the shoulder, how relaxed it was before? Same thing. Right arm forward, lengthen into the fingers, belly to the ceiling. So this is Parigasana. This is your easy version later of the Wild Thing pose. Now if you want to make this a little bit harder, work these core muscles a bit more, take the left hand off the floor, feel those muscles, really firm. Try lifting the right leg. Try lifting both. Tricky. Take the right hand down. So push, if you can, the right heel towards the floor. We're going to stretch out the calf. Come back down. Let's swap it over. So left heel, maybe towards the floor. That's it. Now we're in the right position now to come into Gomukhasana, but if you don't like this next pose, you can kneel and stretch forward instead. It doesn't suit everybody. Otherwise, right foot to the left side. Left leg slides in behind, and then we're working towards bringing our bottom to the floor maybe. And you could squeeze your inner thighs together. Now for those of you who want to do a little add-on here, you can walk your hands around maybe to the right, Just gently lift that left arm. Second side. And come back into the cat pose and do all that stuff that you did before with your hands again, so that you're not sinking into your wrist, ribs in, left leg back, right arm forward. Okay, now you can take that right hand back to the floor, otherwise this is tricky. Thigh to chest, knee to shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think that was right, or did I just do 6? Never mind. Left foot to the bottom of the mat. Come up onto your right fingertips. Can you see? I'm not pressing down, it's just for balance. Okay, now this left shoulder is going to be soft. Taking that arm forward lazily towards the top of the mat. And then I'm going to reach into my fingers, turn my belly up. And then these muscles have to work because I'm not sinking. Maybe you can lift the left leg. If you're super clever, I'm not, you try lifting both. And take the left hand down. All right, let's stretch out the calf. So this is the left calf, heel towards the floor. Right calf, heel towards the floor. Now if you don't want to do Gomakasana, that's okay. Kneel and stretch forward, or do something that you can do that you enjoy doing. Otherwise, left leg to the right, right leg behind. This is Gomakasana. Bottom towards the floor if you can. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Now maybe we're just going to walk the hands around to the left. And just gently lift that right shoulder, right arm even, over to the other side. Left arm lift. And back into the cat pose. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to practice using our hands a little bit more carefully in chaturanga. If you don't want to do chaturanga, if it's not good for you at all, your shoulders, your arms, your wrists, your elbows, don't do it. Lie on your tummy now. Otherwise, stay in cat pose for an easier variation. Come into plank if you like the challenge. So you can see my bottom bones are pushing towards the heels of my hands. And I did do a little tutorial for this one. It's on my YouTube. I did send it out. You can have a look. So shoulders over the wrists. See, I'm looking forward. Elbows to the center, not like chicken wings. And then you have to come down like an ironing board. Chest to the floor. It's hard. Much harder if you do it without the form. It's doable. And we did it very slowly, but you know, sometimes if you go into some Ashtanga classes, they go very, very fast, and without form, you've got the issue that you're going to maybe hurt your back over a period of time because the form just isn't there. So, this variation of Shalabhasana, I'm rolling my thighs in because that just gives me a bit of space in the sacroiliac joint there. And elbows forward, hands in fists. Push the armpits down, push the shoulders down, and pull the elbows as if towards the hips. So what I want to try and experience in this position, remember before when we were standing and I said, take the arch out of your back. So that's your normal position. For some people it means there's always a little squish in that lower back. So when we take the arch out of the back, it just gives us an opportunity for a short amount of time to stretch things in the opposite direction. So when we do this pose like this, it gives us an opportunity to see if we could just create a tiny little arch in the upper back, which is usually a kyphosis. So, you know, arch in the lower back, lordosis, and the roundy bit in the upper back is a kyphosis. So we just want to feel like we could reverse that just for a few seconds. We could get a little bit of fluid and blood moving through the stiff bits. And relax. So we're going to stretch out the pecs, alright? So hopefully this isn't too hard for you to follow because I won't turn around, it's too hard to see. So let my left knees out to the side, push the tailbone down, grab the mat on the left side. So midnight, whatever that is, 3 o'clock. This is 1:30. But I'm going to spread my fingers, bend the elbow, and I want to feel like I'm gluing my arm, particularly my pec, to the floor, and my right hand there. And then you use your left hand as if you're trying to unglue the glue. So that's important, because what I want to feel is not that I'm doing a passive stretch, but that I'm consciously pushing my right pec down into the mat as my left hand is trying to lift it. And I don't have to do very much to get a feeling like I'm releasing some of those muscles that are pretty tight in there. Now maybe, don't want to keep the microphone, you can take the left toe tip back. Back to the first position, and that should make your shoulder feel a little bit better. So right knee out. So I'm going to push the tailbone down, grab the mat, so midnight, 9 o'clock, a bit wonky. 10:30, bend the elbow, grab the floor, push the pec and the elbow down. This is the left hand now, or the left arm. Use your right hand as if you're trying to unglue the glue that you've used, super glue, to try and get that left pec to stick to the floor. So I'm consciously pushing the pec down as I'm trying to lift it up. Okay? So you can see, if I don't do it, that's what I look like, but this is what I look like if I'm creating that resistance. Maybe you can take your right foot behind. See how you go. Back to the first position. Okay. So we're going to do swimming. Really good for strengthening your back muscles, okay? If it's really hard on your lower back, wait until you're stronger before you do it with your feet as well. Just come up onto your toe tips. Do it like that with your arms, okay? If it still doesn't feel like it's doing anything positive for you, just do this one, okay? All right, we're going to do 30. I'm going to move up because I'm hitting the chair. Chin in. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35. Relax. Relax. Okay. So we're going to go into a kneeling, stretching forward position, and we could do the harder version of the worm, but I'm going to take you through the easier version. So again, shoulders away from the ears for this one. Armpits towards the hips, but I want you to not lift your chin, not lift your head, just breathe in and imagine your pubic bone moving towards your chin, and then you go into a kind of forearm cat pose, which you can then walk your knees closer to your elbows and turn it into a proper cat pose. Bottom bones forward, round out the back, which is nice as a counter for those back arches. Turn your knees, or make your knees wider, bring your toes to touch, bring your bottom towards your heels. Now if you have issues with your shoulders or your arms, your neck, you can just let your arms drop just right there. Otherwise, those of you who don't have problems with your neck, shoulders and arms, what you can do is use the length of your arms to traction your spine. So can you see how close my ears and my shoulders are for this position? I want to make my hands, my fingers, my arms really long, but what I don't want is passive like this. So remember when we did all of that work with our hands and our fingers before, and we were literally grabbing the floor using the whole of the surface of both of our hands, thumb pad, joints, fingers. That's what I want you to do now. Even though you're not weight bearing, imagine that you are. That keeps you warm, creates a little bit of a bunda in your wrists, a little bit of an energy lock, chin to the throat, upper back lifts, armpits push down. So I'm literally grabbing the floor and then I'm breathing into my belly. This makes it a very intense, active position as opposed to this, which is kind of like, nothing wrong with that sometimes. But for the sake of this exercise, let's make it active. Let's really imagine that our life depends on creating space between these spinal joints, and you know, one day it might. Now, if this is enough for you, stay. Otherwise, we're going to go into the down dog, do the down dog sequence. But remember, when you're in the down dog sequence, you're lifting your legs out. You know, you can do all that in the cat pose. It can be there can be always easier ways to do things. So, for those of you who like down dog, let's start in cat pose. Let's make sure we're using our hands wisely. Let's take it back into the position. So can you see again, if you want to have a look, my shoulders close to my ears, my hands, I don't want to be doing that. I want to remind myself, okay, look at that, my fingers can hold my weight too. And I'm not just going to niggle into my wrists, I'm going to really use my hands wisely. And then maybe you can look to your belly. It's fine to bend your knees, do it that way, that's okay. But what we want is not our chest jutting forward, we bring the ribs in. Ribs in, look towards the navel, armpits down, bottom bones as if towards the heels, breathing into the belly. In other words, you have that isolation of the rectus abs, which means your abs are pushing forward. Rest or take the weight to the left foot and lift your right leg. Rest or bring the right foot to the left side. Slide the right palm forward. Turn your left foot so the toes are facing the left side of the mat. And if you want to do the Parigasana variation, that's it. Otherwise, you've got the Wild Thing pose. And if you want to do a back arch version of the Wild Thing pose, you can do that. Back into the down dog. Maybe you can do those things from cat pose too. You just adjust it slightly. You just miss out the bit where the foot goes to the other side. So this time we're going to lift the left leg. We might rest, or for Wild Thing people, left foot to the right, left palm forward, turn the back foot. For those of you wanting the easier version, that's what it looks like. Try not to sink into the wrist. This is the harder version. Challenging is when you turn it into a back arch maybe. Well, more challenging, I should say. Back into the down dog. Beautiful, and rest. Come into cat pose. So we're going to come into sitting. You can cross your ankles to do that. Obviously that doesn't feel nice for everybody. If it doesn't feel nice for you, don't do it. I've got an extra dog and I'm really noticing the difference. I'm just looking at my jumper now. It's like covered in dog hair. Can't keep up with it. Okay, she's adopted. I didn't get another dog. I've got enough going on with kids and one dog, but she is very cute. So left fingertips to the bottom. What am I talking about? Fingertips in general towards the bottom. Push your shoulders down, grab the mat. And what we want to do with this one is consciously push the shoulders and the armpits to the floor, and imagine we're trying to get the elbows to connect in the middle. So in other words, not chicken wings again, the opposite. Now, we don't lift our head, remember, not because it's against the law, but let's try and move from other parts of the body first, because that is a really big habit. So I'm going to lift the chest, push it forward, lift the sternum, then I might just lift my chin slightly. See the difference? As opposed to this, which doesn't really do anything, does it? Okay, now if you want to go into the table pose, you can try moving your bottom towards your heels, breathing in, lift up shoulders to the hips. Keep pushing and lifting the tummy up higher so you don't look like this. Imagine if you wanted to rest or balance something on your belly, like, I don't know, a cup and saucer. And relax, come down. Roll your shoulders in. Roll your shoulders out. Last part of the practice. And then we get to relax, which will be nice. So, coming into constructive rest position, I might just move up a little bit because my leg's going to be out there a bit. We're doing happy baby, and then we're going to do some bridge poses. So let's grip the mat with the left foot, take the right leg straight so it's 10 centimeters off the mat. One-legged bicycles with the right leg.
Let's go back, opposite direction. Back to the first position. Slowly crisscross. So this is a simple version. You can rest and just hang out there for a moment or so. Otherwise, fuller version. Looks different if you're going to reach for your toes or the ceiling. And maybe you just leave your head on the floor, but if you like to do the sit-up, expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peel the upper body off the mat. Relax. Now we're going to go into the happy baby. So my left thigh, I'm going to hug that to the side ribs on the left side. This is happy baby with the right leg. It's like that. But if I'm going to do the resistance variation, which is really useful, I could either hold on to my calf, the ankle, or maybe the outside of the right foot, and then I want to feel like I'm trying to get that thigh to the floor, but my foot's trying to get to the ceiling. So it's a bit of a wrestle. Push the right elbow forward and lift the armpit to the ceiling. So you can see that armpit's really firm as well. And I say that because that will help to release your scalene muscles. They're the muscles in the side of the neck. Get tight. Now just relax that tensioning so it doesn't feel as if your life depends on it. An add-on for people with a bit more flexibility, maybe just stick with this one if you're not so flexy and this is enough. But you let go of your leg, flexy people, and then you work on straightening your leg a little bit more maybe, but without using your arm. Now we bring the right arm on the inside of the right leg and we push the leg into the arm. Push, relax. Try again. Little push, and relax. Now either you go back into that first position of happy baby. Some of you could hold on to the big toe or whatever. My arms are long. But now I want it to feel like it's pleasant. I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm going to break something. I want it to feel like there is enough going on that your attention stays nice and steady, but it's not so strong that you feel like you're getting stressed. Relax, hug the thigh, pop the foot on the floor. Can we do the second side? So left leg straight, 10 centimeters off the mat, one-legged bicycles with the left leg. Second, or opposite direction, I should say, because there's only two ways we can go. Now back to the first position, and nice and slowly bring the left leg up, crissy-crossy, left leg to the right. Rest, hang out there, otherwise right leg to the left, reach as if for the ceiling or your toes, leave your head on the floor, expand the tummy on the in-breath, chin to chest, peel the upper body off. Coming back down, this time we're hugging the right thigh to the side ribs, not the chest, the side ribs. This left leg, that's the happy baby position. You don't have to grab anything, you just do what your body can do naturally. That's better if you're not so flexible. Yanking and pulling things into a position doesn't always give you the best results long term, all right? But for the resistance exercise, you could hold your calf, your ankle, or the outside of your left foot, and you imagine thighs trying to touch the floor, foot's trying to get to the ceiling, elbow forward, armpit up. See that armpit goes firm, which is good for my neck. I just want you to release that tensioning a little bit so it doesn't feel like your life depends on it. Now some of you are going to stay here. Some of you who are a little bit more flexible, like a little bit of a challenge, you could straighten your leg a little bit more. Then we bring the arm on the inside. So we give it a push, relax. Okay, see the difference? Push, relax. And then I hold on to my big toe. But you may or may not be able to reach your big toe. You can go back to the first position. Soften and keep your attention focused on the muscles that you're trying to lengthen. You want those muscles to be a little bit softer. It's not unusual to be tense in the groin muscles, you know, because of sitting. And hug. Pop your feet on the mat. Lovely. Alright, so have your feet about hip width apart, lift the pubic bone, bring the chin in, take your arms so they're on a similar plane to your thighs. Now you might just press your feet down and lift the pubic bone, and that might be enough for you now, okay, which is fine. Otherwise, as you breathe in, connect the movement and your pubic bone. And what you want to imagine is that you're trying to get your pubic bone towards your chin as you feel the breath moving in. And you might find that the front of your hips start to organically lift up, and you can squeeze your heels again as if towards the midline. So again, it's like we're in a pigeon-toed kind of position, but we're trying to do the opposite. You can pop the arms down by the side. Now if it's enough, stay or come out of the pose. The next one, as I've said before, feels nice maybe in between stiff necks, but not so nice if you have one. We shuffle onto one side, bring one arm under, do the same on the other side. Try and shuffle the shoulders away from the ears, press the backs of the arms down, and then feel like we're just trying to lift the chin slightly away from the throat, breathing into the belly. And relax, just drop it a little bit, maybe a third, release the right shoulder, release the left, and pubic bone towards the chin. Try and lower down, joint by joint, vertebra by vertebra. And ideally, as we come down, we want to feel that the tailbone touches the mat, ideally before the sitting bones if possible. Relax. Now if it feels more comfortable for you, bring one knee at a time to your armpits. Bring the arms in between the thighs. Give it a push. Push the legs into the arms, arms into the legs, and then relax. Hold on to the shins. Bring your knees a little bit closer, and then create some resistance. So we're pushing shins into palms, palms into shins, and then relax. So let's finish the way we started. So this is fish pose. Broaden across the upper back. Press the shoulder blades down, bring the chin in, relax the belly. Expand the tummy on the inhale. So feel as if you're lifting your belly, your chest, your collarbone, as if towards the ceiling. So front of the body expands, middle of the spine moves away from the mat. Relax, allow the back of the body to sink back down. Bring your knees together. Pop the arms down by the side. Let's give it a bit of a wiggle. And drop your feet to the floor. Now you may just leave your feet in this position. You might like to shimmy them out, let them, your knees drop together. Some of you might like to be in Baddha Konasana if you find that comfy, or if you're near a chair or a couch or a bed, you could just put your lower legs over the bed. So it's a little bit like Viparita Karani, but maybe not as intense. You can turn your palms up and gently extend into your fingertips. That's good if you're someone who falls asleep really easily, keeps you a little bit more awake. But if you find it relatively easy to concentrate, you can rest your hands on your belly while we go through this little breathing exercise. So we're going to do a few rounds of Vilomakrama, and Vilomakrama is a staggered breath. We're focusing on the exhalation, all right? So today I'll go through Ujjayi breathing. It's for those of you who understand all this, you can just begin, just block me out. But this can be really useful to combine with Ujjayi breathing, because Ujjayi gives you a longer inhalation and a longer exhalation. So for those of you who haven't practiced Ujjayi before, or you're not quite sure exactly what it is, let's just do a couple of rounds of that first, and then we can add on the Vilomakrama bit. So with Ujjayi breathing, Ujjayi means powerful. I want you to imagine that you have a straw and you're about to suck the air in, or sip the air in through a straw, but your mouth is closed, your lips are touching, you're not breathing in through your mouth. But if you imagine you're about to perform that action, you'll notice that the front of your throat and the back of your throat move a little bit closer together, and you're left with a little hissing sound. So it sounds a bit like this. Doesn't have to be that loud, really. I've just wanted to demonstrate. So very subtle, only you can hear it. If there was anyone else in the room, or there is anyone else in the room with you, they shouldn't be able to hear it. And once you get to the end of your inhalation, to exhale with Ujjayi breathing, you can do the same thing. You imagine that you're blowing the air out of the straw, or you can imagine that you're humming, but you're doing it silently. So you're taking the sound out of your hum. Same thing, sounds a bit like this. Okay, I don't need to hear it. No one needs to hear it. If you're in a bedroom, if you're in a yoga room, you might be in a bedroom. I'm in my bedroom, but generally, if you're in a room full of people practicing yoga, nobody needs to hear it. It's just for you to focus on. So once you've got a handle on that, then you can add on the Viloma Krama. And that means what we're going to do is we're breathing in normally. So let's just say that's 3/4 of a lungful. And on the exhalation, we're going to do it in 3 even stages. Okay, so exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale. Release all the breath and pause. But try not to just follow those instructions in a perfunctory manner. Just really take the idea of the practice on board and adjust it, feel it, and make it your thing. Put your spin on it. Relax as much as you can. Don't feel as if I'm giving you instructions and maybe you're doing it wrong. Just relax into it a little bit. So the next time you complete your exhalation round, just relax. Come back to the natural rhythm of your breath. Just let go of any sense of controlling your breathing. And if you felt that it was different using Ujjayi breathing, if somebody hadn't been doing that before, let me know. I'd be interested to hear if you felt that was a little bit easier or more powerful. So just make yourself comfortable now for complete rest. You want to be warm and you want to be in a position where you're not going to start to fidget. So just do all your fidgeting in the beginning if that's what you need to do, and then make a resolve that
wherever it is that you end up, it's going to be okay for the next 5 minutes or so. And for the last part of the practice, the relaxation, the complete rest, try and give yourself a focus. It's much easier to keep the mind steady when we have a focus. It takes a lot of practice to not have to focus on anything and not have the mind drifting. This is called dharana, concentration. So we're going to focus on the inner body and just the parameters very slightly outside of our body. So in other words, the area that or the ground that we're lying on, just that bit of space around us. And if you feel your mind drifting outside of those parameters, just keep bringing your attention back, because you've got the rest of your day to think about all this stuff. But for now, let's try and have an experience of yoga. Yoga is really something that you're more likely to find when you're practicing on your own without a teacher giving you instructions. You can take those concepts, those ideas, you take them away with you and you practice them yourself. Now, for those of you who would like a longer relaxation, you can just pause or mute this recording now. Otherwise, I'm going to take you through the last part of the practice, which is the visualization, inhalation. So let's just start by allowing any tension that has crept into the body to completely release. So the mind, the brain, and the physical anatomy is sinking, surrendering even into the ground beneath you. And just bring your attention when you're ready to the lowest part of your belly, so around your pelvic floor, so pubic abdomen, so it's that space right at the base of the spine. Just feel as if you're taking a little sip of air into that area. Just feel the lower belly expand and sense that whole area becoming warm and feeling spacious, feeling nourished. If there's an emotional aspect to that particular part of your body, just be aware of it. Don't think about it too much for now. You can come back to it later. Don't search your mind for something better than the first thing that came into your mind either. You can follow your breath when you're ready into the main part of the belly. So across the navel area, known as the kunda in yoga, dantian in Chinese philosophy, known as the Hara Center in Japanese philosophy, place between heaven and earth. And I want you to visualize, if you can, the whole of the digestive area, all of those important organs that are governed by the relaxation response and that are affected by the stress response. I want you to feel as if you're creating a sense of space and freedom in that part of your body. I want you to sense it becoming warm and feeling nurtured. Follow the breath into the chest, just feeling the ribs lifting slightly out of the waist. And this time, visualize your heart. Maybe sense the vibration of your heart, not just here but elsewhere in your body. Visualize your lungs and the whole of your circulatory system, essentially like a series of tunnels and channels around the body. Visualize those three things working together to move the blood, the energy, the information around the body without impediment, without blockages, just so that we can have nutrients and oxygen make their way into all of the trillions of cells that make up who we are. Allow the throat to relax. If there's tension in the throat, just let it soften and follow your breath through the throat to the crown of the head, just pausing to observe for a moment or so sensation at the crown of your head. And when you're ready to exhale, just see if you can follow that, not just as a feeling of softness in the muscles and the bones, but also with that sense of acceptance, that sense of allowing, just accepting maybe that everything is in its place, everything is as it should be in this particular moment in time anyway. So follow that thought, that idea, that exhalation if you can, down the back of your head, your neck, upper back, across the shoulders, the middle back, the lower back, across the top of your pelvis, buttocks, the tailbone, and then down through each of your legs, the heels, and out through the tips of each of your toes. In your own time, you can give your fingers and your toes a bit of a wiggle. You can squeeze your eyes, your eyelids together, and you can bring your arms up above your head to give your whole body one last big stretch between your fingers and your toes. And you can either bring up your left knee and roll yourself gently to the right side, or both knees if that feels better. Give yourself a little bit of rock and roll yourself gently to the right side. And you can stay there for as long as you like. Have a great day. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for joining me.